Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Saya Dr. Nozuraidin bin Muhammad Safar, pensyarah di Fakulti Sains Komputer dan Teknologi Maklumat, Universiti Tun Hussein Malaysia. Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. Greetings to all of you. This will be our last discussion on this course, which is the current trend of e-commerce in Malaysia and CMS Open Source for e-commerce platform. So throughout this presentation, I want to discuss a little bit about the current trend of e-commerce in Malaysia, maybe related to the current date, which is for 2021 and 2022. We now in the end of 2022, and then the next discussion will be our last discussion would be open source e-commerce platform. I want to compare with the SaaS versus the CMS open source. So let's take a look the Malaysia in e-commerce statistic and trends in 2022. So as you know, the Malaysian e-commerce market grew by 68% year on year in 2021. So this growth I'm going to discuss later. At the same time, the number of online shoppers in Malaysia grew by 47% year on year, with 14.43 million buying consumer goods online at the start of 2022. That means in this year. So what is the contribution of this? Okay, this is the thing happened from the COVID-19, where people are restricted to go to the public, or MOC, movement order. So people tend to buy everything online, and then the trend continues. Maybe for the next years, the growth is still there. Okay. There is 4 online shopping trend in Malaysia. The sources, if you want to know, I will share it later. So number 1 is 85% of internet users have made a purchase online. So that means around less than 20% people in Malaysia, they are not online, not doing the purchasing through online. Okay, Malaysia added 3 million new digital consumers between the start of the pandemic in 2020 and the first quarter of 2021. What's more, among all Malaysian internet users, more than 8 out of 10 are now digital consumers. Okay, this is on trend with the rest of Southeast Asia. For Malaysia is at 81%, but it's depend on the population. Singapore reached 97%, Thailand reached 90%, while leading Indonesia at 80%, Vietnam 71%, and the Philippines at 68%. So the trend of online shopping is growing. So the option of using how to manage the e-commerce portal wide open, and there is various option that you need to choose. So this trend will make up the discussion for the next discussion, where I want to tell you a few favorable or maybe a well-known CMS platform. It's actually being used previously, but the theme is changing day by day. So the second one is 9 in 10 Malaysian are active internet user. Okay, when we have home internet before this, we have Streamix, and then we have Unify, and then the rising of the communication device, smartphone, with the expanding of the 4G, and now reaching the 5G communication protocol for internet access, okay, it contribute these chances for the sales or shopping through online. Okay, you can read all of these statistic. Uh, this is the statistic just want to prove that the trend is getting bigger and bigger, but also is reflecting the facilities or infrastructure of the internet in Malaysia. So the third one, so 94% of the pandemic consumers still use digital services. Yeah, this is the COVID-19 is maybe I can't say it is obsolete, but it's still there. But the good thing for this is people can reach uh, or buying anything through digital services. So in 2021, okay, the fourth one is mobile phone penetration hit 84.2% in 2021. So all of these statistic, okay, being conducted by a few bodies responsible to prove that all of this trend is contribute to what is currently happen in Malaysia. Okay, you can read the last couple of decades where since early of 2000 where the internet keep rising and people rely on the internet and digital services to fulfill the needs or necessary things to adapt with the new trend of purchasing process, okay, banking system, communication, and even though what is happening right now when I teach you using uh, synchronous or asynchronous method through online, this is the reflecting of this digital booming in Malaysia. So let's see the top 10 e-commerce website in Malaysia. Okay, you can refer this to my slide if it is not clear. Okay, of course, Shopee led the Malaysian e-commerce market as the most clicked e-commerce site in the country as of the second quarter of 2021. Second quarter of 2022. Okay, I made a mistake there. Most visited e-commerce site in Malaysia as of second quarter 22 by monthly traffic in 1,000 click. Okay, you can see the top one is Shopee, and then we have a PG Mall, and then followed by Lazada, and then Zalora, GoShop, Q10, and so on. But the first three, okay, the first three contribute a huge of accessible from a Malaysian consumer. So what is the projection of the Malaysian e-commerce for 2023 and so on until 2025? So this is the statistic that I pull out from the reliable sources. Okay, because of the Malaysian is the e-commerce market to watch in terms of digitalization and growth, while people initially through e-commerce would contract after the pandemic. Data shows this hasn't been the case. E-commerce payment in Malaysia are projected to increase from 7.1 billion US dollar to 13.8 billion in 2025. I mean billion here. In fact, the period of 2018 to 2023, Malaysia is expected to experience the highest growth rates for the total e-commerce activities in Asia at 35%, okay, leading Indonesia at 26% and Thailand at 17.9%. So that means there is a good opportunity and option, best option to do online shopping or e-commerce management system in Malaysia. The Southeast Asian e-commerce economy is projected to reach 234 billion by 2025, with the Malaysian e-commerce market set to hit 30 billion US dollar by 2025. So there's a lot of numbers there. lots of financial involved, but it's also sometimes it's going to be reduced due to the economic crisis or finance issue in Malaysia. It's depend. Some said that in 2023 we have a turmoil economic crisis, but we still don't know. Okay, we still don't know. But uh, for me, it's still people still use e-commerce or shopping online as an alternative to the traditional buying process through physical or face-to-face. Okay, in addition to the technology advance already discussed, such as the growing mobile and internet penetration, this growth is being propelled by Malaysian rising education level and consumption by middle class, driven by the middle class. So that means as long as the users of the internet increase, so the opportunity or the chances of uh, e-commerce or shopping online will increase. So like I'd say, this is also based on the growing of the mobile internet user, and also the life expectation and from the most of the middle class to the upper class people in Malaysia. But it's just a projection, but somehow it's based on the previous or historical data that can be projected to reach this amount of number. All right, that is the a few discussion on the current trend in Malaysia. Most of them is statistically and numbered. So we go into the last discussion of this course, which is the CMS Open Source of e-commerce platform. Okay, maybe you are familiar with all of these e-commerce platform such as PrestaShop, um, Mango, a few platform that already been done for e-commerce. So this is the global picture. What is the expectation of the e-commerce? Okay, it's growing rapidly. E-marketer, okay, the survey body expect the global e-commerce sales was 5.542 trillion in 2022. This is the global. Before this, I only discussed in Malaysia, the projection in Malaysia and the current situation in Malaysia. But now, the expectation of the sales for e-commerce can reach 5.542 trillion. So back to the basic, an e-commerce platform is a software that enable business to manage their online store, including sales, marketing, and operation. This is you already know. An e-commerce platform often have features that support. The first thing is content management or the content management system, the inventory management, the payment method, shopping cart, and checkout. All of these things is very fundamental things that should have in e-commerce platform. So when we are looking for e-commerce platform, you will encounter both software as a services or SaaS in the cloud services and open source commerce solution. So what you have been done in lab is normally related to the open source e-commerce solution, where we use our facilities, our infrastructure to run all of the things instead of SaaS. I'm going to discuss it later for the SaaS. So there is several things that you need to consider before you choose any e-commerce platform. The first one for me, the first one is of course the cost. But before we go to the cost, we need to understand the ease of use. Is the platform interface intuitive? Do you have to spend a lot of time learning how to use it? So the learning curve, whether it is very difficult to easy to manage by non-technical or non-IT people. So that one is among the first thing that you need to choose which kind of e-commerce platform. And the second one is scalability. So ideally, you will benefit from e-commerce platform that grows with your business. That's the solution you are eyeing support small business to enterprise. So that means um, even though you are starting with the small size of company, but in the future, who knows? Your business is grows and then it's reached to the enterprise level. So you need to consider also the scalability, and this one also been discussed in the previous chapter. The advantage of a CMS that you need to consider is the scalability issue. Okay, even any application or any services that digital services especially, the scalability is a must. So you whether you need to expand uh, using a migration process or part by part, so that is still the scalability issue. And then the third one is the autonomy. So do you have full control over the platform or are you relying on a provider? For instance, the SaaS e-commerce solution receive regular updates like social media platform, and you need to adjust to the changes to continue your operation. So it's a win-win situation. Which platform do you want to choose? Okay, it's depend on the model of your business, the model of your online shopping. Okay, and of course, the autonomy will let you know, okay, whether you have the power or the authority to manage on the CMS. And the fourth one is maintenance and security. Okay, this has been discussed before actually, but everything related to digital services, we need to know this and how we want to manage and how we want to do a security measure for your content, for your CMS, for your online shopping or website or portal. And the first thing that I said before, the cost. So do the platform plans fall within your budget or not in your budget, and then whether you want to give a try or not. So that is depend. So normally all of this thing is being discussed between the top management, the funder, account, and then also the technical staff, where they are meeting and have a collective decision what cost is reasonable, applicable, and practical to manage your e-commerce. And also the second last one is support. Can you solve a software problems your counter, or will you need to customer support from the platform? So it's up to you. Okay, if you maybe you can hire a good technical staff that have a good troubleshooting problem, or maybe you have a third party services provider or for support. Okay, it's depend. So somehow maybe you can hire security professional for your securities, and then regular maintenance from the third party company instead of your in-house personnel. So it's depend. And the last one is purchase and customizability. Does this platform offers the purchase you want? Okay, we get tied down to that platform. Will you be fine using its built-in features, or do you want access to the third-party tools if you want to add a plug-in, add-ons, or it's depend. So that is why you need to discuss with your technical personnel. Okay, how do you want to project? How do you want to view your future of the for the e-commerce that you want to build up or you want to create. So there is a few things. There is a lot of discussion other than this thing, but normally, okay, like I said before, and like what been discussed in the previous chapter. Okay, this is quite similar. Sorry, I mean especially the scalability, okay, maintenance and security, and of course the learning curve. How do you want to um, train your subordinate and your staff how to manage the e-commerce. So this is all the thing that you need to consider before you choose any e-commerce platform. Okay, we come up with this thing, open source e-commerce with the SaaS. So cloud computing. Okay, cloud computing is also it's not a new, it's not a trending nowadays. It's something is for me it's necessary because of the reliability and scalability issue. But it still depend. If you choose, if you think that open source e-commerce is for you, okay, let's go there. Okay, so let's see what is the SaaS e-commerce platform. Okay, in SaaS, service provider hosts e-commerce software on the cloud and license is to you via a subscription, such as monthly fees for small business to enterprise size business. So this is the main thing of the cloud computing. They provide the services, but it's being charged by the subscription fee. Okay. So beside hosting, SaaS also includes security, maintenance, updates, and technical support when you purchase a plan. Everything is done by the cloud computing provider. So the SaaS model is perfect if you want to launch a website quickly and save on infrastructure, installation, security, and maintenance costs. Okay. If you have a good budget and meet your requirement, and then you go for a SaaS because you only need an internet connection to do and to have the e-commerce platform or to have your shop being launched online. So example of popular SaaS e-commerce platform is Shopify, BigCommerce, Wix, and Squarespace. So everything is being done by the cloud computing provider. You also know how to manage and everything using the username and password that are given by the cloud computing provider, right? That is the SaaS. Okay, but like I said before, the scalability and reliability is not an issue for SaaS as long as you pay them for the subscription. Okay, if you want to expand, of course, you want to add more money. Okay, so that is the thing that cloud computing services. Okay, so as a comparison, the open source e-commerce platform, like what you do in your lab, when you can host your website on your own, or maybe you will share or hosting, and then you install your e-commerce CMS, or maybe there is a few management provided by the web hosting to directly install your e-commerce from the interface that they provide. So that is the difference between the open source e-commerce and then what being compared with the SaaS. Okay, even though the hosting and everything is not on your own, maybe you subscribe, but the mechanism or the approach is quite different from the open source compared to the SaaS. Okay, so that is the comparison, that the idea of between the difference, sorry, it's not the difference between SaaS and the open source. So the ease of use, so SaaS is built for beginners because everything is there and then the open source may require extensive technical knowledge. It depends whether you want to host on your own, and you want to do the installation privately. It depends on your approach. So for the scalability, SaaS platform are built for different scales, and open source is also scalable, but it depends. Okay, for what I mean by depend is also is depend on your hosting, okay, on your bandwidth limitation and your setting. So both are scalable, but most of the SaaS is autonomous. All right, the autonomy limited control since a third-party provider manage your business. Okay, it seems like you are using others to manage your shop, but it's very easy to set up for SaaS. And then for the open source, lets you customize and extend functionality with extension and plugin. So you have a freedom to reorganize, to organize, or to maybe revamp your website. Okay, the maintenance and security, SaaS platform handles maintenance and securities, but the open source you have to take care of your maintenance and security update. Okay, web hosting provider or services provider that hosts your website, they have their mechanism of security, but for the sake of your own security of your e-commerce website, it's up to you. It's your responsible to do the maintenance and security. Okay, support is available. SaaS, of course, you do because you are the subscription user. Okay, whether it's a weekly, monthly, or yearly, it depends. So of course, the support is available. And for the open source, normally it's not available. Some platform offer customer support and additional costs. So like, sorry, cost is depend. You may ask the quotation from the cloud services provider, and also you can request a quotation from the web hosting plus the extension for premium features may have an additional cost. So which one is good for you is depend on what you have intention to do with your website. Okay, this is the example of open source e-commerce. Okay, Magento, WooCommerce, PrestaShop, Shopware, OpenCart, ZenCart, and the example of SaaS e-commerce, Wix also. Example of SaaS e-commerce, BigCommerce, Shopify, Squarespace, Subscription Flow. So this is some example, okay, not all. Okay, we have a lot of services provided throughout all over the internet. So this is some of them, and I want to discuss maybe two or three the famous or being used widely. Okay, the first one is the WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a popular e-commerce plugin that gives the WordPress content management system. So that means you have this CMS or WordPress for your website, and then you have this plugin WooCommerce, so that it can be integrated together to do the features like inventory, payment gateway, and of course checkout. So WooCommerce and Shopify are the most used commerce platform among the top 1 million e-commerce website, with WooCommerce having 29% market versus Shopify 21%. So Shopify is the SaaS e-commerce platform. So it's quite similar, but in the different environment. One is a cloud, one is the open source that you can host on your own. Okay, let's see the Magento. Okay, I believe Magento is being bought by the Adobe. Okay, and the last one, PrestaShop. Okay, PrestaShop is an open source commerce platform built on Symfony, a framework that improves flexibility by letting you pick and add modules you need to your website or application. So the customizable is very easy. Okay, and then we have a lot of features and modules, and the giant companies such as Zippo Fashion Store are among the 300,000 plus online shop that use PrestaShop. Okay, it is easy actually when we have all of this CMS, and then you have this hosting, and then you just install them using the maybe PHP script to install all this thing, and then we have a database, and then that's it. The e-commerce website is there. Um, I guess that is the three example of the e-commerce platform. Okay, I guess that's all. The end of this course. If you have any question related to this matter and all of the previous chapter, you just free to contact me, WhatsApp me, and during if you want to try a few things related to e-commerce, maybe you can meet me. All right, that's all. Thank you and assalamu alaikum.